I am the speaker of today, one of the speakers, Kane, and I am the ORCID Services and Asia Training Executive from Cambridge University Press. So as Dr. Rafaela is unable to be here this time, we invited Dr. Jacob Wickham. So I will introduce him soon. So let's get started. So
Okay.
this is me. Yeah, this is me. I'm working to improve the author experience in multiple ways and helps authors to achieve their professional goals. I have 6 years of experience in training and consulting in the area of OA journal marketing and journal management. So let me introduce Dr. Jacob. So Jacob is academic trainer from Editage. He is also the senior managing editor of the journal Integrative Zoology and senior scientific researcher at RAS, and adjunct professor at the Department of Entomology in Rutgers University, researching the chemical communication of invasive beetle species. I guess that's right. In today's session, we will talk about 4 topics from measuring impacts to open access. So I will talk about the first topic, measuring impact, and number 4, open access. And Jacob will talk about the second topic, strategic dissemination channels and audience targeting. And the third topic, effective communication and collaboration. So I will go to the first one. So when it comes to maximizing the impact of your research and enhancing its visibility in the academic world, consider the social media platforms or the collaborating with other researchers and publishing in reputable journals. Engaging with the academic community through conference, workshops, and online platforms can also help increase the research and influence of your work. And also utilizing tools like Altmetrics to track and showcase the online attention of your research can also provide valuable insights into its impact. So what about the measuring impact? I will talk about academic and social matrix. This is the first session. So we know that academics and researchers are working in an increasingly competitive market, and that our authors are frequently asked to demonstrate the impact of your research. Using the social media effectively can help you to engage with your peers and the academic community as a whole. In turn, this will help to encourage both usage and citations of your work. Academic and social impacts metrics gain insights into the world of academic and social impact metrics, understanding their significance and how they influence the research and recognize your research is very important. So I will talk about the types of impact metrics. So first, impact factor. Where does it from? Who's the source? So impact factor is under Web of Science, who belongs to the Clarivate. And the impact factor evaluates impact by measuring the frequency with which the average article in a journal is cited in a particular year. So how it calculates. So dividing the number of current year citations to articles published in a journal in the previous 2 years by total number of items published in the journal in these 2 years. Then they got some number, that's the impact factor. So H-index. So H-index is a Google Scholar matrix. It is the largest number of, so let's say H index of a publication is the largest number H, such as at least 10 articles in that publication were cited at least 10 times each, then H index is 10. So that's the H index. They also have H5 index. That means the H index of only the article that were published in the last 5 complete calendar years. That means like within 5 years, the H index within 5 years. And also the alt matrix. So this one is like article level, not like the other two. The impact factor is journal level, and H index is like the personal level. But alt matrix, it is article level. That means the quantitative measure of attention. It has some score criteria, some requirements, but it gives a score based on volume, source, and authors, like how many people mentioned your article and where the article is mentioned. Like Facebook, it gives you 2 scores, and authors who mentioned you, who's mentioning the article. Then this is how the alt metric looks like. This is a paper under Cambridge University Press. You can search that online. And through our platform, you can see each article's alt metric score. So that's how you can track your own metrics. And yes, there are limitations of the metrics, like the impact factor. Not all journals are included, and it's very limited. And also, the number can be distorted, manipulated, or gamed. They can play with the publication number. They can't play with citation number, but they can play with the publication number. Then they might have like higher impact factor. So many words can be distorted. So that means all the matrix, the numbers, they are kind of thing, they are kind of important, but they are not absolutely means something. And also tracking your own metrics. So you can create an ORCID account, which we recommended you really to do that, because using that account, you can submit your paper through our system without registering a new one. You can use your ORCID account, log into all the system, and submit your paper, save your time. And also you can have your Google Scholar account to track your H index, and creating an altmetric account to see all your papers altmetric scores, and working with your publisher to check how this how the article is going on. So that's like an overview of measuring impacts. Now let me hand over this to Dr. Jacob.
There we go. I just unmuted myself. I've worked over 10 years as a journal editor, and so I can give you some advice on strategic ways that you can spread the word about your paper, because I think nowadays it's very important not only to publish in high impact factor journals, and these are always good, but there's more than one measure of impact now, and Miss Kane Kang introduced a whole bunch of different matrices, like the H index, the alt metric. So to boost your alt metric, it's great to promote your article after publication, and often your journal can help you along this journey. And I would say that your work is just beginning when you publish your paper. You should be able to communicate it to a wider audience, stakeholders. You can relate your work to policy. Your funding agency may want to see you promote your work to have broader impacts. So it's very important. So create a blog. there's community blogs where you can like tell the story behind the paper. You can write a short write-up on Facebook and have a link to the DOI number of your paper. And also journal selection. So thanks for advancing the slide. So where to share your work? Well, as an early career researcher, there's no better way to share your work than to go to a conference and present your work. Conferences are great places to meet colleagues, also exchange data on your research. You can talk to other researchers about your paper. You can present your paper, especially if it's a new publication. And you can also share email copies of your paper to researchers who may be interested. And again, I also mentioned you can create a blog or a website dedicated to your research and share it. So these are great ways to share your work. So if you go next slide, please. And you can also make sure your data is accessible. One way to do that is to publish in an open access journal. Your work will always be accessible for life. A lot of journals now are requiring you to archive data. They want to make sure your data is fully available. So there's a lot of data repositories out there, and you can share your data sets. This increases the transparency of your work. You can also share codes and methodologies. And you can also track the impact of your paper. By choosing, if you want to share your data, you can share it in a repository that assigns DOI numbers. And your data sets can also be cited as well. So you can track your impact by using repositories that assign DOI numbers. Then you can support policy. You can write a policy briefing on your work, how it would be useful for policymakers. But also, it's good to tell how your research can have practical application as well. And you can choose a journal that has a lay summary, also journals that have infographics or graphical abstracts. These are very nice like snapshots of your paper that can be communicated to a broad audience. And you should also comply with your funder mandates. Maybe your funding agency requires you to publish in an open access journal, so you must do that. You can also self-archive, like in ResearchGate. But you can't self-archive the final copy of your paper. You can self-archive an accepted article or like an early view article. So you should comply with your funder and institutional requirements for long-term preservation. Next slide, please. So I mentioned the importance of communicating your research to a wider audience. There's no better way to do it than with social media. You can use Twitter or X. You can use Facebook. A lot of researchers are on Mendeley, which is like a social media for scientists. ResearchGate also works as well. When you make these posts, you can tag stakeholders. You can tag your publisher. As a journal editor, I frequently work with authors, and I also will, you can tag authors, you can tag the publisher on your posts, and that way you can, your social media posts can reach a wider audience and get more views, and hopefully more people will click on the DOI number. So make sure you put a link to your paper. Not only you can learn about the paper, but you want people to actually read the paper. So put in those links as well. So yes, so use visual aids, catchy images. If your paper requires a graphical abstract or an infographic, you can use that for your post. It's a nice one-panel display that summarizes your paper. And again, don't forget to put a link to the paper as well. So next slide, please. So why does this matter? Well, this helps to share global knowledge. Gets your research results out to the general public. You also can summarize it, not using technical jargon. You can summarize it for a lay audience. Every year, I get a summary of all the papers that are published in the journal that I edit, and I get the top papers that have the highest alt metric. And you're not alone here. When you do publish your paper, you can engage with your publisher. You can also engage with the public relations office of your university. And these are great outlets. Once you get your paper and your science recognized, it may hit the news media, like Science News may pick up the story, and then it can attract worldwide attention, and that can really boost your alt metric. So you have to be very proactive in this. And the public results, they attract recognition, and when you close the knowledge gaps, this helps promote equity and empowers others and boosts research trust through transparency. So next slide, please. So here's some practical tips. It's always good when you're doing research to bridge research to the broader impacts, societal impacts. How you can apply your research to policy. Usually the end of your discussion section in your scientific paper, you provide some guidance for future research or future experiments. This can also be discussed in a social media blog. You can present the results of your findings and say, okay, here are the next steps, or here's how it can apply to practical applications or policy changes. And this can help build community trust and maximize global collaboration. So next slide, please. Okay, I'll give you some tips now on effective communication and collaboration. There's a lot of different social media outlets out there. For example, if you're in China, maybe it's difficult to use Facebook and Twitter, so you may want to consider WeChat and also Weibo. And you can also communicate there as well. But I would recommend trying to use all channels, and it's important to use the ones that are can be shared around the world. Next slide, please. So how to share your research. You want to present your findings in an easy to understand way. In addition to like a technical abstract, you may want to choose a journal that also has a lay abstract or has, I would say, enhanced content formats. For example, graphical abstracts, infographics, video abstracts, or video summaries. If you have these visual components when you share your research on social media, you want to use nice charts and graphs and images or short videos, and this can enhance the understanding. And it helps to simplify the content as well. I've seen some very complex, very difficult to read papers on chemistry, and then I've seen them summarized as in an infographic in a way that uses very plain language, and it makes it very easy to understand. In fact, even the titles are very difficult to read, but then when I read the infographic, it's super easy to understand like the main and the key message of your paper. And don't forget to include, what was the take-home message? What is the key message of your paper? You want to include that in the overall message. And this helps to make a bigger impact. And you want to make sure your discoveries are heard and create a real-world difference. If you make a great discovery, but nobody hears about it or nobody understands the paper, does it really make a difference? Well, the answer is no. You need to explain your results, to a broader audience, not just specialists in your field. And having effective infographics and graphical abstracts can help you along that way. So next slide, please. And yes, so in which language? Well, not technical jargon. Don't use abbreviations. You want to use very clear and concise language, and avoid, if you have to use abbreviations, then you should define them. For example, like gene names and or other acronyms. But the main point here is that you want to communicate with clarity and precision to ensure that the understanding of your scientific results can be understood by a lay audience and engage with the broadest audience possible. Think about that when you go to like a conference to present the results of your research. You may think about your audience. You'll have some, maybe some journal editors or some policymakers, or from people that are outside your technical field. So you want to explain your results in a way that everyone can understand. So next slide, please. And in getting the messages out about your publications, communicate with the public relations office at your university. Often after your results or your papers accepted by a scientific journal, there's an embargo period where the paper is in press, but it hasn't been released to the public yet. And this is the time to actually communicate with your university communication office, or say there's a journal editor that attended a conference and wants to write like an article, like in the Science News or Nature News. That can also be timed with the actual publication, the final publication of your paper. So this can be done very effectively with your public relations office. So the day that it publishes, then you can have a press release, and you have a good chance of making international science news outlets. So that's my recommendation with that. So use your public relations offices, and also you can be creative and contact your colleagues, and you can use your institution to create an internal newsletter, or you can share your results, your hypotheses and opinions, and this can help maximize reach and visibility. And also, publishers also have community blogs, so consider writing up a blog about your paper, and you can keep it to like 600 or 700 words and like one display panel, and that you can engage with your research community. So next slide, please. And I mentioned you don't want to use lots of jargon. You want to adjust your messaging about you communicating your research results for different stakeholders. So if the topic is very complex, then here storytelling can help you a lot. So telling a story may facilitate more effective communication, and one way to do this is a video summary. I've seen some really excellent video summaries of publishers. And you also want to choose a journal that uses these enhanced content formats like video summaries or graphical abstracts. In fact, the table of contents of journals now has visual indexing. So you'll have the title and the author's names, but you'll also have the one display panel that can give an overview of your paper. And this can attract much needed attention to your paper. So consider using a journal that uses graphical abstracts and infographics. Next slide, please. And those of you that are traveling to conferences, I would say early career researchers, it's extremely important to go to conferences. So know your audience, match your presentation style to the knowledge and interest of your audience, for example, policymakers, researchers, funders, or the general public. And you can highlight impact. You can emphasize why the results of your experiments, of your paper matter, and you can explain the implications to drive societal engagement and action. So I would say 95% of the research that is done in the world is done by graduate students, like master students, postdocs, and PhD students. So when you go to a conference, you may only have like a 3-minute presentation or a 10-minute presentation. Everyone at the conference knows that the exciting science is happening with the early career researchers, and they make it a point to go to those talks. So there's no substitute for going to a conference. So I would highly recommend attending conferences, and it can lead to future funding opportunities. It may lead you to another job opportunity or a PhD program or a postdoc. So yeah, consider going to conferences and disseminating your knowledge at conferences as well, and use social media to get the message out. So next slide. I think that's it for me. So thank you very much. We'll turn it over back to Kane Kang for open access publishing.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I will go to talk about open access. So this overview about open access in numbers. In Cambridge University Press, we have published more than 80,000 OA articles, and we have institution covered by OA agreements with more than 2,000 institutions. We also have 384 journals contain OA, and 119 Go OA journals, 400 OA books, and about 200 OA elements. That's an overview of the open access in numbers in Cambridge University Press. So OA could be a good way to kind of promote your article. So open access makes scholarly research permanently available online to view without restriction. OA can also allow content to be published in a way that allows readers to redistribute, reuse, and adapt the content in new works. OA content is freely available online, not hidden behind a paywall, meaning increased discoverability, usage, and higher citations and downloads for your work. And we want to see that all OA articles and book submissions to Cambridge go through the same peer review and publication process as non-OA submissions. And we have publishing agreements with many institutions, like what we showed, 2,500, more than 2,500 institutions. That means you may be able to submit your work OA without paying a fee. And maximizing your impact, that's kind of value of publishing OA. Maybe you know that 75% of open access articles get more citations than their non-OA equivalents, receiving average 30 to 50% more citations. Because like open access makes scholarly research available online without restriction. These can provide benefits to all those in the scholarly publishing process, like researchers, funders, students, librarians, scholarly societies, publishers, and the general public. So the benefits of OA include discoverability and dissemination, educational and other reuse, and also public access and engagement. So open access means greater access to society at large and the potential greater public engagement with research. It can help professionals outside academia who rely on research, including health workers, teachers, and lawyers, to benefit from access to the latest findings. That's all counted by Altmetric. So if your work published open access online, they might use your article on their blog, on their like Twitter, X, Facebook, and other like policy papers. Okay, so this is our services we mentioned earlier. CUP also services global and China website. You can scan the QR code here. To check the website. So what we provide, we have 4 key services. First, English language editing. Second, academic translation, and publication support and research communication. So how it works, 4 steps. First, you select and upload, choose service. If you want language editing, choose one of them, and upload manuscript, confirm order, and then we will ask experts to work on those manuscripts And when we finish, we will email you. And when you check these files, these all done, you need the final files. If you need the final files, you just complete the payment. So the payment happens in the payments happen in the step 4. So before step 4, you don't have to pay. So that's a whole process. And for all of you who came to this webinar, we offer you a discount code. This is a code you can take that, use this for 10% off for all the services we mentioned. The 4 different key services. Okay, that's for today's topic. And we talked about the 4 sections. And thank you very much for Jacob's excellent share for all these 2 topics. And this is a final session for our whole workshop series. We've done that 3 times, and hopefully we could see you next semester. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, to type your question to the question box, and we will answer your question one by one. If you have time, please scan the QR code to complete the feedback survey. And thank you very much for joining us today. You got a question? Will we receive your PPT after the session? Yes, we will send you the slides and the recording after this, and you will receive a certificate. Yeah, for this session.
I'd like to take a question. So I had one question. It says, what are the most effective ways for researchers to promote their work just beyond publishing it? The answer to that question is journal selection. Choose a journal that has graphical abstracts, infographics, and video summaries. And that way you already have a nice summary ready and you can share it on social media. So consider using Facebook, Twitter, or X, and you can do the @ sign for your publisher, or the journal as well. All the journals are all on social media, and we really love it. I myself, as a journal editor, really love it when an author is very proactive at tweeting or posting on X or Facebook. And they can actually do the @ sign for the journal and @ sign for me, and I can share it as well. So I think it's like a team effort. So publishers are there to actually help you promote your paper as well, and also write a blog or consider a press release as well. You can talk to your university office.
And this question for me, I attended last webinar too. The feedback link was not working, and got no reply by team too. In repeated mouse, can look for my certificate. Well, your certificate maybe is still under making. We are still making that, and I think we have a certificate that if you attended each session, you will have a whole the 5th certificate. That's like you finish the whole webinar. So I think they're making that. And the other thing is, if you didn't register the teams with your email, we are not able to send that to you because we need your email address. Yeah, because we really found someone doesn't have email address. on their Teams link. So in that case, we cannot find you. Maybe you can check if this is that problem. You can email to I think to our account, academic dot, or you can email to the one who sent you the post, emails every time, and they will tell you if that's a problem. You can share send us your email address and your name, and then we can offer you the certificate. Yes, just contact us.
I got another question here. I'm gonna repost it. How important is attending or presenting at conferences and increasing the visibility of published work? I say this is more important for early career researchers. And typically, you want to put that conference on your calendar, and you can try to publish your work either before the conference or soon after the conference. It's a lot of researchers will present unpublished data at conferences, and this is actually very exciting. That's why a lot of journal editors will go to conferences, because this is where the newest and latest material is. So I would try to time your publication either just before or just after a scientific conference, and can be a huge promotion for your own work.
I got a question. How does CUP journals help authors understand and track the impact of their publications? Citation or out metrics? Yeah, we have a platform called Cambridge Core. If your article has been published, you can receive a link, then like what we showed here. It will be like that. Your article will be this is exactly the website on this article. And if you click the summary, you can see that article. There will be a button called alt matrix. So you can click the alt matrix. You will receive. You will see all the scores. So we do share this on our website.
Okay, I have another question. I'm going to restate the question. How can we get in contact with a research paper which are published related to our field? There's actually a lot of really cool services. One of them is our discovery, and you can put in some keywords that are related to your research, and you can get emailed papers in your field. You can select some keywords, or you can select some authors, and anytime there's a paper published on that topic, you can get email. I study insect chemical communication, so anytime there's a paper with the word pheromone in it, I get an email about it. ResearchGate is also good. Often the accepted articles are posted there even before the final version of the paper is assigned to an issue. So that's another way to get the latest information on your field. So actually, even before the final publication. So some people are surprised. Like, I'm an editor for integrative zoology, and some authors are like, I'm getting contacted by all these people and we haven't even published the work yet. I'm like, well, yeah, we published as an accepted article and it went up on ResearchGate automatically, downloaded it and shared it with everybody. Yeah, so some authors are actually surprised how fast they can get shared. So yeah, there's a lot of services that can offer this, getting the papers just sent to you, even before they're in print. And I have one more question before I can go back to send it back to Kang. This is just a regular question for a journal editor. I'm wondering how, as an author, if the editor does not respond, like for 4 months after you make an inquiry about your paper, well, if you don't get a reply, usually peer review takes 2 to 3 months, but you should be able to get a reply within a few weeks if you make an inquiry. And if you don't, then consider writing the editorial office as well, not just the handling editor, especially if you don't get a reply. And I'm handling about 20 manuscripts at the same time, all the time. So frequently, a paper might be taking longer than it's needed at a certain step. For like example, assigning reviewers. If it's stuck on that stage, it means not enough reviewers agreed, and maybe you should email the editor or editorial office and suggest more reviewers. Or if it's awaiting peer review scores and it's more than 100 days, you may want to consider emailing the editorial office to figure out like what's going on. Likely it's a peer reviewer is late, and they may have to find another reviewer. So yeah, just some tips for authors, and be patient. It's the amount of manuscripts I've been submitted to integrative zoology has gone up like 300% the last like couple of years. So I'm a researcher myself. It's just a part-time job for me to be an editor. So yeah, we're all busy, but it's okay to send a reminder once in a while. And careful, if you contact the editor-in-chief, you might get the handling editor in trouble. That's happened to me a few times. I wasn't too happy with the authors. I wish they would just email me. So try to email the handling editor first, then the editorial office second, and then editor-in-chief for the at last resort.
Okay, a question for me. What's your advice to authors unsure about the cost effectiveness of open access publishing for visibility and the citations? So first check the publishing agreements with your librarians, because all the publishers, we are like traditional publishers, we are trying to sign those transformative agreements or publishing agreements with the institutions. You might be able to publish that for free. If that's totally free, then that's really a cost-effective thing, because you don't have to pay for that, but your paper will be freely online and you got more citations, more downloads. So first check about this, and your librarians knows that. And then if I think that's you can first try that, and then after you try maybe 1 or 2 papers, you can see that if this is like better than the subscription mode, because you are doing quite similar research area since the like very beginning to now. So if you think that's better, you can choose OA. But if you think not big difference, maybe just use subscription mode. Yes. So check the agreement signed with us. And the other question is, for those of us living in Asia, how can we submit a manuscript to Cambridge University Press? I can show you. So, so this is the one we're using. We call that Cambridge Core. This is a platform. It's quite slow. I don't know if that's slow in your country, but in China it's quite slow. So you can search like like this, browse subject, journals, and books. You can search everything here. You just need to come to this website and search the target journals and then submit through the system. I try to work. And you can browse based on browse journals, all journal subjects, search journals, and you can search open access journals, and you can search books. So, and also you can check here, search all journals, books, content, put your research area there. Let me show this. I will just click all journals. Highlights, or maybe environment. Okay. So this one, I click the open access, then you got all the open access journals. So you might have your own subjects. Then you can select. For example, I'm doing life science. I will only click life science. It's quite slow. So I might have some target journals. For example, let's try this one, Animal House. Then you can come to the journal web page and click this journal information. You will see the journal scopes, aim and scope here, and you will see editorial board. That's editorial board information, who's the EIC, who's the funding editors, section editors, and you can see journal matrix, impact factor, site score, and all the numbers. You can check the affiliation, and then if you decide to submit your article to this journal, click this, also instructions. So first, you might want to know the fees, pricing, and here you can see article processing charge, the US dollars, sterling, and you need to check preparing your manuscript, because here they will list the aims and scope. It's quite similar for each one. A policy and also affiliations, authorship, ORCID, and article type. So for this journal, only publish 3 manuscript types. That's why we usually ask you to check the author instructions. So they only have reviews, systematic reviews, opinion. And then they will tell you arrangement of papers, and all these things, all the requirements, like tables, requirement statement, acknowledgement, like all the information are here. Yeah. And when you checked all these down, you want to submit, click this one, submit your material. So it's all in the journal web page. Okay. You can use Scholar One, and here you can even find the one who is responsible for the journal. That's our colleagues. Yes, just click this. Then you can submit, or you can click this, submit your article. This is quite easy because before you submit, you really need to check preparing your manuscript materials. And if you want to know more like peer review information, journal policy, you can keep going. But if you just want to submit, you can just click this one, submit your article, and it will show like continue. Yeah, and then you can start to log in, submit. Like what I said, if you don't have an account, you need to create an account. If you have Web of Science account, you can use this journal does not have the ORCID, should have, because this shows like Scholar One. Yep. And then you can start your start to submit your paper. This is like how you can use this system.
Okay, I got a few more questions from the audience, so thank you very much. I'll do two questions now. So can I recommend any websites that we can use to get information about our paper? Well, I would use Google Scholar, also Web of Science, and also Scopus and ResearchGate. These are all really good media for finding out the extra information about your paper. I would also go back to the publisher. Go to Cambridge University Press if you published with them. Go to the journal, and they have citation trackers. They have a altmetric score. They can keep track of that. It depends on the journal, but this is extra information that you can find. I think Google Scholar does a great job. A lot of predatory journals will only be indexed in Google Scholar, so be careful with using just that. But I would also use like Scopus and Web of Science, and get a Scopus ID, and also Web of Science. There's a researcher ID that you can get, and ORCID, ORCID is also excellent. Kang had mentioned that. Get an ORCID ID, and this you can help attribute the papers that you actually authored to your account, and then it has a nice summary of your publications and citations in H-index. Also, there's another someone in the audience asked about LinkedIn, and yes, that's also a very good platform to disseminate your paper, or tell a story about your paper, or just share with everyone, hey, this might be something you're interested in, and you can write, instead of a blog, you can write a summary on LinkedIn as well and share that with everyone. So that can actually help you a lot with the promotion. Yeah, since we're on the topic of promotion, the last question here is it effective to promote your research in a more popular way For example, following trends on TikTok without reducing its scientific essence. Um, I would say use all the media you can. Uh, there's a researcher here. I'm sitting here in the rainforest doing field research, and there's a researcher here. He writes blogs on Facebook, and he can actually be very technical, surprisingly technical, writing up the summary of his research. But then he has a link to like a popular science article as well. And you can tell the story behind your research. So yeah, I would use all social media platforms. Even is it Xiaohongshu, the little red book? There's a lot of when they were going to cancel TikTok in the United States, a lot of Americans got Xiaohongshu accounts. So yeah, use all the platforms you can. When I'm at conferences, I have a QR code of my WeChat account. So I'm on Weixin. So and you can promote your work in Chinese, like if you're in China, and also in English, using Eastern and Western social media. So I think all this can attract attention to your paper. And I don't think it'll reduce the essence of your scientific research. It'll help promote it.
Okay, I got another two questions. First, is submitting an article on Cambridge Core free? We still have subscription mode, so if you want to submit the subscription mode, you can do that, and that's totally free. And the whole submission process does not cost you any money. The only thing is if you choose publish APC, we will charge you the publish OA, we will charge you APC, but that's all happened. That will happen after the acceptance. So only after your article has been accepted, you can decide if you want to publish, if you want to pay or not. If you don't want to pay, you can still select the subscription. Then you don't have to pay. That's totally for free. And if you want to pay, then you go to the open access. You pay for the APC fee. So that's for free. And the second one, how can we stay informed about similar events in the future? We have a website. Let's have a look at that. Also on Cambridge Core, there is a page under services about and training. And these are all the workshops. You can see that this one is us, the promoting your work after publication research APAC, that's us. And then this information today, later, is for EMEA and the Americas. And also we have India session, selecting, submitting the right journal, India session. Yeah. And these three, these are what we have done. And also we have also published open access. We have this session, we have sessions for labyrinths, talk about transformative agreements. Yes. Okay.
Okay, I got one more question here. This might be the last one since we're about an hour in. Is there a difference in how early career versus senior researchers should approach post-publication promotion? I would say there should not be a difference. Often there's a junior author on a senior author publication. It could be your lab supervisor. And this the benefit of promoting your work will benefit everybody. So I don't think it doesn't matter if it's an early career or a senior researcher. You know, they'll most likely are researchers or students, postdocs on that same paper. So it's a win-win. And I think a lot of the senior researchers, they may be more proactive on that post-publication promotion because they have more experience. You know, they may, they know the public relations office and they know how to, write a summary and give a picture and know all the little rules. So you may want to actually rely on an older career researcher to help you. So here, this can be a good mentoring opportunity for the early career researcher. So yeah, no difference between those two.
I think I got another question about the publication in Cambridge University Press. Do they accept the research on plant extract? I think yes, but we can check. On 4 page, let me put plant extract and search. Yeah, we have some. We have articles. That means these journals accept this kind of paper. That's way plus amounts. That's plus. Yeah, you can search, but I think yes, we have some. We have some journals accept that. You can check those journals accept scopes, amen scopes. Yes, we have that journals. Yeah, I think we answered all the questions. And yeah, thank you all for joining us today. And thank you very much, Jacob. And we may see you next semester or next year at the same time. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.